Howdy folks, and welcome back to episode 4 of All the Mods 9. In this episode, this is going to be a very build-centric kind of episode today, because we've got a dock and a really interesting tombstone build for Corel Tombstone planned. So, yeah, let's get into it. So as you can see, between episodes, I did kind of pretty this area up quite a bit. You remember in the last episode it was just a boring square room? Well, I decided that I would just do a little bit of just throwing blocks everywhere and see exactly what I came up with. And I love this because it was sort of like it almost looks like a rib cage, which I kind of like, around our wither skeleton spawner here. And then we added in some chains. We've got our waystone on top of a quartz column with these calcite corner trims, which are just amazing. And then the jacaranda, just to sort of accentuate the white of the walls, offsetting the black of the obsidian, and the grayish, greenish, black weirdness of the skystone for the ceiling here. But I really like the way this turned out. One thing I did do in the interim is I also improved the last thing you'll ever see, which is the name of my sword. You remember we had looting and fire aspect on it. Now we actually have sweeping edge 3 on it as well. So after these things are damaged down to half a heart, you walk over here and go whap, and they all die in one swipe and drop all of their goodies over here. So you can see, like, we've got, I have gone through so many chests of goodies of, like, you know, diamond axes and iron stuff, and of course we've got tons of bones. We get coal off of it. The one thing we don't get from the wither skeletons from the spawner is wither skeleton skulls. I've killed thousands of the things at this point, so I would think that if they were going to drop, they would have dropped by now, and they're not. So we're gonna have to get wither skeleton skulls the old-fashioned way, unfortunately. But that's okay, because we're still getting, we're getting tons of wither bones, we're getting tons of regular bones, we're getting all of this gear that we can then put into our salvager and get more diamonds and iron and gold out of, which is really nice. They dropped a magma cube draftler's backpack, which I thought was kind of fun. And yeah, it's slow. It doesn't work all that terribly fast, but it is very effective. And as you can see, I'm at 39 levels. I was at like 50 something before I did a bunch of enchanting to get to see if I could get something cool off of books. So it does function. It does work. It is effective. It's just kind of slow, which is unfortunate because we still don't have access to, like, mob utilities or hostile neural networks or any of those things yet. So as soon as those actually are put into the pack, which I suspect they will be soon, we'll be able to actually improve that spawner by just leaps and bounds. We'll be able to use things like, sugar and clocks to speed up spawning rates and decrease spawn times and all that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that, but for right now, this is fine. For now, let's go ahead and head home, and I'll show you what else we've been up to. This fox has actually been hanging around over here quite a bit, too. He was out in the middle of the ocean, swimming around, like looking like he was about to drown, so I grabbed him and brought him over here, fed him some sweet berries. So I'm on his little trusted list that fox mobs have built into their code. They have, like, the trusts mechanic where you can't tame them, you can't, make them sit or turn them into pets, but if you feed them sweet berries or food or anything like that, they will trust you to the point where they'll hang around you and be okay with you. So he trusts me. He's just shy, so he's hiding behind the house right now, which is fine. We worked on this area a little bit. As you can see, I've cleared this out quite a lot for our Corel Tombstone build that we're going to do here today. And we're going to fix this because this is, it's fine, whatever, but it's still just kind of ugly. So we're going to be building something here, and I'm really excited to get started here. This was actually added as well. The Twigs mod for all the mods has been added in here. Twigs has a bunch of different stuff in it, but one of the things you can do is make this rocky dirt, which if you go over here and check out Twigs, there's a bunch of different stuff that you can do. You can see there's the silt, which is sort of like mud. It's nether mud, basically. I think we went over that in the last episode. You can do different colors of silt. You can do these schist bricks, which is just basically another quartz and clay gets you schist, and you can make this really interesting, like, whitish gray textured blocks off of them. Obviously, the cracked cobblestone bricks, or the cobblestone bricks like I used for my front door is up there. You've got tables you can put in. bamboo thatch, which I think is a really interesting thing we might actually use in a few things here. All these seashells, pebbles. This is how you actually make your rocky dirt, is you just basically use dirt and pebbles to make this rocky dirt. And that's what this is. And it's a really nice texture to use, especially for things like this where we're going between like this coarse dirt and regular grass into a more rocky terrain. So it's a good block to use as a transition as you go from dirt to the rocky dirt to stone. And then I've added in some cobblestone just to give it a little bit more texturing and more layering here for that. So this is the outline that you're seeing here is basically where our Coriel tombstone build is going to go. And then over here, of course, obviously is where our dock's going to go. The waystone will be moving over here to the graveyard area that we're building for Coriel tombstone, just because it fits in better there, and having it down here is kind of... It's just kind of pants, you know, to have this just hanging out by itself. The Twigs mod is actually pretty cool. It's a small mod. It's definitely a decorative mod, but it's a very interesting mod to put into this particular mod pack. And it's especially interesting because Twigs was added in the last update, but you know what wasn't added? All the mods. In other words, there's no all the modium, there's no signalium, there's no vibranium, there's no unobtainium, none of that. So basically what I'm wearing right now as far as my armor goes is pretty much as good as it gets until and unless we get into mythical agriculture and start making the inferium armor, the supremium armor, and all that kind of stuff. Which we're probably going to do, because I haven't played around with mystical agriculture in a really long time, and it's one of Oni's favorite mods, and he keeps telling me how I should play around with it more, so fine, I'll do it. And they have fixed the mod conflict with the handcrafted mod for making these fancy beds. So, in other words, before in the 0.18 update that we started the pack on, you couldn't make those because the comforts mod to make the sleeping bags was overriding the handcrafted mod to be able to make things like the sheets and the pillows and all that kind of stuff, so you couldn't make those. They've actually fixed that mod conflict now so that you can actually go in and make all that stuff. And you can do things like make your little bed here, or you can use the sheets to do different things. So, spruced up this area a little bit. We've got our cherry drawer over here, like above the bed. We've got our nightstand. We've got another really cool fancy painting here of a mountain, which I really, really liked. It really went with the Airbnb cabin aesthetic that we've got going on here. And I replaced the fox head on the wall with a blaze head because that sounded like my fox. Hold on. Rescue mission. Buddy, where'd you go? There he is. He's over there. Found him on the map. Dude, you alright? You good? What are you doing over here? Don't run towards the mobs. What are you doing? You stay away from my friend. Alright, let's sleep real fast so that we can keep him safe. And he's back in the water. I swear to Colonel Sanders. So the next thing that we are going to do... Oh, that's right. I forgot. I needed to actually disenchant all this stuff that I got from the Wither Skeleton farm. Give me a minute. There we go. That's better. Having said all of that, let's take a look at our inventory here. So this is as you can see, I've upgraded my iron backpack to a diamond backpack. I've got a bunch of different upgrades in it here. So I do have a stack upgrade of tier 2, which increases everything by basically 4 stacks. So you can put 4 stacks of stuff into a single item, which is fantastic. I've got a magnet. I have it off right now because it's kind of irritating when you're just wandering around doing stuff. It's great when you're going on like a big mining expedition because all that cobblestone and stone and all that stuff will just get automatically thrown into your backpack, which is really nice. So we do have a magnet upgrade on this. We've also got the crafting upgrade and the stonecutter upgrade that we had before. So we have the ability to basically make stuff on the fly for that. There's no woodcutter upgrade for these, which is kind of sad. I wish it was, because then you could do a lot of different stuff with the woodcutter that you could do with the stonecutter. But hey, you can't have everything. And notice also I now have 4 tombstones because the wither skeletons drop the essence of undeath. And because they drop it, And they actually have a very highly increased chance of dropping it. I guess the higher level the mob, the more of a chance they drop the Essence of Undeath that you need to make the tombstones from Corrail Tombstone. The Wither Skeletons drop it with a fair amount of regularity. So I've had 3 drops of those, so I was able to make 3 more tombstones. So we've got 4 tombstones for our graveyard. So now we have basically 4 times the chance of them being able to have a bound soul trapped in them if you basically just go AFK and just wait. They'll have it in there. So we'll have four times the chance of getting bound souls to be able to use to rip enchantments off of things, and to also use things like the Ankh to pray to, and everything else that goes with Corrail Tombstone. I mostly use Corrail Tombstone for the ability to get bound souls, to then turn around and rip enchantments off of gear that we've been getting, because, you know, you can find gear floating around out in the world that's being worn by mobs that has not only things like unbreaking or sharpness on it, but also mending. Frostwalker, the rare treasure enchants, gear will occasionally drop from mobs like that, which is how, if you notice, my gear is ridiculous at this point. Like, the only thing I'm missing on the boots is Depth Strider. The pants are great, and it actually has Unusing on it, which, I mean, for this is, you know, neither here nor there, because if it breaks, we can just repair it. Obviously, we need to get Unbreaking on our chest plate, and our helmet is pretty much perfect, except for it's fire protection rather than just standard protection. Honestly, though, knowing what I know about how the game works, you can only stack so much protection on your gear. So we've got Prot 3 and Prot 4 on our pants and our chest plate, and then we've got blast protection and fire protection over here. So we're protected against a wide variety of different damage types, which I prefer over just straight protection, because after a while you just have diminishing returns on protection. The other thing that we did here at the base is you'll notice you hear animal sounds in the background. Well, we made this room. This is going to be our farming and ranching room. So I decided to go with like this modern texture on the floor here, where we've just got green concrete and moss. The walls are the blocks of bamboo, which I think is really cool. The pillars are willow logs. And then fir stairs sort of complement that. And then we've made the ceiling look like the sky, which I thought was kind of cool. It really gives me, like, you know, old missile silo turned into a bunker vibes. In fact, if y'all are familiar with Fallout 4, did I hear what I think I just heard? Oh my goodness. Give me a minute. I've told you before. So if you're familiar with Fallout 4, there's a place in this area of the Fallout 4 called the Glowing Sea, where you have like this little house that's in the middle of nowhere. Underneath it is like a giant defense agency bunker. And I'm really starting to get those vibes off of this. Oh, by the way, have you done this yet? You know what? 218% of you aren't subscribed to my videos. I just saw that from my analytics. I just wanted to make sure that sounded as ridiculous as possible, just to make fun of other YouTubers. Ah, I'm disappearing. Why am I disappearing? Okay. So I told so many lies that I spontaneously disappeared. Okay, so now that we've done all that silliness, let's go take a look at what we've got here. So this is our build palette for the builds we're going to be doing today. So we obviously have our tombstones. We need those. We have these stone brick standing torches, these short versions of them, and then these mundane standing stones. So just to give you an idea what these look like. So there's our standing stone. Here's our small torch. Here's our big torch. Really cool looking stuff. Like, I really like these little mundane standing stones from Roots Classic. They're obviously not used as gravestones, but considering I only have 4 gravestones here to work with, I want to have things that kind of look like them that I can throw in there too, just to give it more of a feel of, you know, an actual graveyard. Plus, we also have a fairly sizable block palette that we're working with here. We've got, obviously, stone. We've got the cobblestone bricks. We've got some mossy stone bricks, mossy cobblestone, chiseled stone, a lot of stone bricks, andesite, and then these andesite railings and these andesite railing gates, which are really neat. So if you go over here, so this is the way the andesite gates look. This is the way, or the andesite railings look, and this is the way the andesite gates look. And they open, which I was pretty happy with. I wonder, you know what, I haven't checked to see. They don't connect quite like I'd like them to, but that's okay. We can live with that. So that's going to be the outer wall for our build today, is going to be those things there. And then we also have these square pavers. We're going to use a ton of those just for different pathways and everything down there. And then these chain lanterns, street lamps, and a few other things that we've got in here for it. As far as, oh, by the way, if you're wondering how I got all the animals downstairs like that, I've been using these. These are mob yoinkers. The fact that they're called yoinkers just tickles me no end. All right, now having said all that, I think we're going to start on our dock first, because the dock's going to be, dude, I just don't understand. You had a perfectly warm, comfortable house. You had all the sweet berries you could eat, and you're over here fishing. I don't get it. Whatever. So we're actually going to start with our dock, I believe, because that's going to be kind of the simpler build. So we're going to go ahead and get that started right now. Yeah. So let's get going. Let's get going and getting this thing taken care of, shall we? I am constantly amazed at what you can do in this game with some signs. Signs and buttons, and I'm constantly amazed about it. And I'm pretty happy with this. I wish these bridges were a little bit easier to deal with. They're just, oops, knew I forgot something. They're just really not all that easy to deal with. They don't like attaching the way that I would like them to, because you notice they are like 1 pixel above the floor here, so it's not 100% the way I wanted it, but it's pretty darn close, and I'm pretty happy with the way that this actually turned out here. So obviously a ton of jacaranda, because I wanted the offset color to be something like the detail color that we used for the house. So this is why the main color here is that white. Put some barrels, some campfires, some of these warped chests that I actually used some white dye on. So they've got like a blue and white tinge to them for decoration. So I like that a lot. Sammy almost drowned a couple of times when I was putting out the campfires. I put out the campfire and it like sent the boat down to the bottom, and I had to go rescue Sammy. Sammy's not the brightest bulb in the bunch here, let me tell you. But yeah, we'll see if we can keep him safe. After I got done making the gold fire pits upon on there, I discovered that there are iron fire pits, which go with this color scheme a lot better, and I may actually swap those out for iron ones at some point, because they do go a lot better with the color scheme. But I like the idea of having those up there. I like the bridge supports, but the problem is that they're not, unless, hold on, let me see. Nope, they are not. They're not waterloggable. Basically, they're just solid blocks. So it looks a lot like how blocks under the water used to look back in Minecraft before 1.13. You could waterlog things. These don't waterlog. So, I mean, they're fine for what they do. They're meant to be pilings, basically, but full blocks obviously are going to work better, because you can't waterlog those to make them go underwater, because that's not what they're designed for. It's designed to be a bridge. It's not designed to be like a pillar support for underwater structures. So I get it, but Macaw, man, come on, make them waterloggable. There's crazy people like me out there that want to do weird things with the stuff that you've made. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this little dock that we've made here. So, but we're not done yet. We've got some more building to do. Obviously, we've still got to do the Corel Tombstone build and jump on the other build that I have planned for the day. So, and that is going to be right over here. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into that one right now. And I am really, really happy with the way that this turned out because, oh baby, it's so good. It actually, I mean, you probably saw me get excited when I like backed off and saw that the shape came out right, and I was so excited. Yeah, I really like the way that this turned out. Now, so we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play a little game here. I want you to go down to the comments, and I want you to put in there what you think my inspiration for this particular build was. So pause the video and go down to the comments and just see what you think. Take a guess. And if you guess correctly, that means I've done a good job. If you guess incorrectly, that means I've failed miserably. But pause right now, go down to the comments, and make your guess as to what has inspired me to actually complete this build the way I have here. You got that? You done? All right. So it's Tearsfall Blades from World of Warcraft. This is what I wanted to build, and it actually came out. I'll be quiet, Sammy. It came out really, really well. So I played a ton of World of Warcraft back in the day, like a lot, and all my friends played. So I was married at the time. I was raising some kids. I didn't have a chance to like see my friends as much as I would like. So we decided to just, we'd play World of Warcraft. We'd get on TeamSpeak. Remember TeamSpeak? The Discord before there was Discord. And, we'd go raiding and we'd do quests together and all that. And so they all played Horde. And I didn't really care for many of the Horde races. Like, the orcs were okay. The trolls were kind of silly. The Tauren were giant cows. But the Forsaken, you want to talk about guys who were just straight up evil. They were great. So I played a Forsaken warrior, tank, basically. That was my main. And I remember Tearsfall Glades, old Tearsfall Glades, like, is burned into my brain. The music's burned into my brain, the look, the feel, the atmosphere, all of it was just permanently etched on my memory. And I wanted to basically recreate that. So straight down to like the green lanterns, the little farm here with the pumpkins. I think you'll remember that with the bat, the elite bat that would fly around that everyone would try to take out because it has the opportunity to drop. I think it dropped like a pair of green pants or something, but they were ridiculously overpowered green pants for your level, which was usually like level like 10. And everyone would go after that bat because the pants were great for PvP if you wanted to twink. So this has a special place in my heart. So that's why I built what I built here. So right down to like one of the lights isn't working up there. It's sort of decrepit looking. It's overgrown. You got the scarecrow over there, which is cool. You've got the gates. You've got the pathways. Wither roses, candles, gravestones. Ooh, hey, we got another grave over here. The little veranda here where you've got the waystone. I mean, just all the details, everything came together. It's rare in my mind when I get a build that comes together as easily as this one did. It wasn't easy to build, but all of the elements came together almost seamlessly. It was just, hey, I got to build this now. I got to build this. Oh, wait, now I need that. And everything works together, which is, to me, just amazing. And, of course, we've used the Jacaranda, the Umbran, and the Magic Logs as details in here to just sort of tie the build with the other builds that we've already got here with the dock and with the house. So we still have the same color palette, sort of, but we're diverging from it a little bit with the way that we've got this. Like the wood that I've used here, these are the dead logs. This is dead log fence. We've got one of the dead trees here. We've got I made a custom dead tree over here out of fence and leaves. These statues, by the way, are from Handcrafted. And since they don't have Arthas Menethil and Sylvanas as statue options yet, but I figured, so we did a witch statue here. We did a Vindicator statue here, which is basically just stone and an axe, and this is just stone and a bottle, and you're good. We got mushrooms growing here and there, wither roses. Of course, this is a really dangerous area to just wander through now with all the wither roses here. We've got our standard Coriel tombstone gravestones, but then we've also got these other little ones like these stone columns with the statues from supplementaries holding various different implements as simulated graves. We've got as I had mentioned before, we've got the mundane standing stone as simulated graves. it just, everything came together really well. Now, the interior isn't done yet because I'm going to actually have a sort of a spiral staircase that goes up, but we're lighting the interior entirely with glow lichen because I wanted to have like this really dark, dank, decrepit kind of appearance like you do in the Tirisfal Glades area, and Tirisfal Glades and Lordaeron, Undercity, that whole area. So we've got these dead leaves that are basically coming through, like the place hasn't been kept up very well. We've got one of the green lanterns over there that's turned off. We've got the fire pit that's turned off. We've got a mausoleum tomb here that's open, and if you look inside, it's you've got a wither skeleton skull down there. A little bit of a different block palette on the bottom here. I might change out some of the blocks up there from stone brick to different things that like we've got down here. We've got some stone, we've got some chiseled stone, polished andesite, mossy cobblestone. But honestly, I don't know because so it's rare that I feel like an artist. And one of the things that I've actually, because I know a lot of really artistic, creative people that do art and sculpting and all this different stuff, and they always talk about how they know when something's done when they have to force themselves to put down their chisel or their brush or their pencil or their charcoal or whatever it is and just step away and realize this is done. So something in their brain is telling them this is now complete, walk away. I'm getting that feeling with this, that this is complete, walk away. Don't change it because you have more of a chance of screwing it up than you do of improving it. So that's kind of how I feel. Actually, you know what? Can I switch? Oh, I can't switch off the ones that are hanging. Shoot. All right, never mind. Because you can switch off the ones that aren't hanging. So I get the sensation that this is a completed build at this point, that I shouldn't touch it anymore because, ow, stupid wither rose. I shouldn't touch it anymore because anything else that I do to it is just going to either over detail it or take away from what's here rather than add to it. So I'm really, really happy with the way that this turned out. And then obviously in the back here, we've got our portal. And if you go through the portal, you've got the mining area down here with a mega torch, of course, because everything's kind of dim. The thing I'm thinking of is in Tirisfal Glades, I do remember that there is a room that has a portal in the back that is... it goes somewhere. I can't remember where off the top of my head. At least the new Tirisfal Glades. Old Tirisfal Glades didn't, but new one does. And then over here, you've got this little detail with the purple, with the glow lichen showing through, because purple and green are big... Oh, I'm in a hole. Hold on. Anywho, purple and green are like big colors for the poisoners factions that you run into down here. And they've got like, the purple, the green goo everywhere and like the purple highlights and the buildings and everything. So I wanted to add that in, and the amethyst with the glow lichen in front of it fits perfectly as far as that goes. Only thing might fit better is if I had like portal on all four sides and it was showing through. But I think the amethyst actually is a really good choice for that. God, it's just, I was just, like I said, I was amazed at how well this came together. Polished tough bricks on the floor. Really, really cool. These are also from twigs. You can actually use tough to make polished tough bricks, which I think look really good. So they've got like a little hint of, greenish gray in them, which goes well with the rest of this. Obviously, we've got the connected black stained glass up there behind the magic log stairs and slabs as sort of a window. And then the andesite square paving is just great. I mean, this stuff is really good. You can just sort of spam it everywhere, and it looks really, really solid. I still remember this just simply because I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna nerd out. I'm gonna let my nerd flag fly high for a second here. I don't know how many of you actually have played or still do play World of Warcraft, either the current game or the classic version. The thing that I remember about this is because I started playing right before Wrath of the Lich King hit. So 2008, 2009-ish, something like that. The quest that I remember getting here, because you get the first quest here, where you start working for like the poisoner guys, the guys that are trying to come up with the plague bringers. And you get the first quest here to basically go out and you poison a bunch of like undead pigs and then cull them and bring back the stuff, and they try and make something out of it. Well, all through the standard classic game, you get jobs you get side quests from basically the plague guys to go get more stuff, to go get more ingredients for them, to basically do quests for them. You even have, and then when you get to Burning Crusade, you've got like a couple of quests for the guys throughout the Burning Crusade as well. So you get a couple of side quests for them there. And then you get to Wrath of the Lich King, and you hit the Wrath Gate, and you suddenly realize that that entire quest line that you have done has culminated in the plague event at the Wrathgate, where basically Arthas's Lich King's guys versus the combined Alliance and Horde forces fight at the Wrathgate, and the plague guys are laying in wait for them on the cliff face above, and the head plague doctor, whose name I can never remember, basically starts screaming about vengeance. Do you think we have forgiven? Do you think we have forgotten? And he launches these plague canisters onto everybody and just kills everyone dead. Oh, both sides, Alliance, Horde, the Scourge, all of them. Just wipes them all out. And it's at that moment that you realize that you are the one who has caused this, because you have been working for the plague guys for the entire game leading to this point. That you are the one that basically empowered them to be able to figure out this incredibly virulent plague that they have now used to not only destroy a ton of the Scourge and injure Arthas, but also kill half your allies. You are responsible for this. And then you go and talk to one of the Alliance guys after the Wrathgate event, and she's like, I don't know exactly how this happened. This is terrible. This is awful. And you're like, yeah, it's really bad. I can't imagine how this might have happened. And you just, sort of slink off to try to, and it seriously like messed me up when I'm just like, holy God, I'm the one who caused this. And this is where you get that first quest, is in Tyr's Fall Glades. Amazing storytelling, incredible storytelling, and across not only an entire game, but an entire game and 2 other expansions. Like, they had this plan from day one. And it just blew my mind that they had planned it so well, and it all fit together so well, and you were responsible. You were the one that was responsible for all the death and destruction that just happened. And that's probably one of the reasons I remember this area so well, is not only was it a really incredible design, but just the story that it tells, and the fact that it involves you to the point where you're not the hero. You're not the chosen one. Like, WoW later on with Cataclysm and Legion and a few others sort of developed, chosen one syndrome, where it's everyone, you're the most powerful mage, you're the most powerful warrior, blah, 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 blah. This one was just, you're the villain. You caused this. This is your fault. How are you going to deal with it? And I just didn't touch the game for a couple of days because it was just so mind-blowing a reveal. It was so well done. I mean, it was like M. Night Shyamalan kind of reveal. Other games have tried to copy that kind of reveal over the years, and no one's ever succeeded. So I'm really, really pleased with the way that this turned out. And the build and just in general. So, and I mean, it's the entire reason we made this, the entire reason that this build even exists, is because we needed something for Corel Tombstone for 4 blocks. We could have just put 4 blocks out and called it a day, but no, I had to go and do this for the last 4 hours. And you know what? Worth it. I'm tired. So I think we're actually probably going to call it an episode there. I know this is a little bit shorter than I normally do. I think I haven't edited it yet, but I think it's shorter. If it's not, then ignore me. But I think it's a little bit shorter than normal. But build heavy episode for sure. We've got our dock built. We've got our Corel Tombstone area put together. We've got the ranching area downstairs. We've done quite a bit. We've done quite a bit in this episode, and I am very happy with it. Now, next episode, we are actually going to do a couple of different things, one of which is we're going to go back to the Nether, because there are some things down there that we definitely want to pick up. Because I think next episode, it's dragon killing time, I think, in the next episode, for sure. And we're also going to see about getting into mystical agriculture a little bit, because, like I said earlier in the episode, all the Modium vibranium, unobtainium are not in the pack yet. They have not been. The pack has not been updated. Well, that mod has not been updated for 1.20 for this particular pack. I'm certain the mod authors are working on it because you really can't have an all the mods pack without all Amadium. That's kind of the point. Until that point, we need some better armor because there's other things we want to do in here, like go to the Undergarden, which is another dimension, similar to like Twilight Forest and those things. We definitely want to do that as well, but I want to make sure that I have the most overpowered armor I can get before I start going to dimensions I've never been to before, because I don't even know what the Undergarden is, to be honest with you. So we're probably going to get into mystical agriculture, and we're going to have to make a mystical agriculture area in our base, which means more digging, which means we're going to be digging down even further to make a mystical agriculture area, because we don't really have room in our grow room where we've got all the hopper botany pots that we're growing everything else at this point. So more growing involved. So we're definitely going to be doing that in the next episode. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you had a good time. I hope you liked the build that we did as much as I do, because man, I love that Tears Fall Glades inspired look. And I like the dock too. I mean, the dock is really, really nice. I like it. It turned out really well. But the tower over there with the graveyard is just, it makes me happy. It hits all of the nostalgia buttons in my brain. So it's a happy brain chemicals. So, but I do hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave a like and subscribe on your way out the door. I always enjoy having new subscribers on here. We're on our way to 1,000 subs for the channel, which if we get to, fantastic. I mean, if we don't, I'm still, like I tell you on every video that I do this for fun. I do this for stress relief. I do this for therapy. I do this to take my mind off the horrific amounts of pain that I'm in. So, if you want to subscribe, I would definitely enjoy having you around. But if you don't, hey, no worries. Just glad to have you along for the ride, and I hope you enjoyed yourself. But whatever you do tonight, make sure you go out, play some games, have some fun. I'll see you all again real soon. Have a good night, everybody.